Hello everyone, welcome to From the Star Wars Home Video Library. I'm your host, Nathan B. Butler, author of A Saga on Home Video. This time we circle back and take a look at something that we saw in a similar form way back fairly early in the life cycle of this series. Way back when, I talked about how if you were someone who wanted to watch The Phantom Menace in 2000, DVD was still a year away. In fact, we didn't even know that DVD was a year away when they put it out on VHS for the first time in the US, and a lot of people were frustrated. One of the things that people did was they then imported in the widescreen Laserdisc from Japan. But a lot of other Star Wars fans decided to go to websites that were offering international sales. And we should keep in mind that StarWars.com really launched to help promote the special edition. So we're talking early days of the internet when it comes to Phantom Menace hitting home video. And at this point, people were importing mostly these Malaysian VCDs of the Phantom Menace. It was either the Japanese Laserdisc or Malaysian VCDs. And we took a look at them at the time. You basically had a single jewel case for each of two discs, so two jewel cases, one for each one. And these logos on them, we took a look at them, talked a little bit about them in detail, but there was a disc 1, there was a disc 2, and usually when I was seeing them for sale, and I did buy them at the time, you would see them as two separate jewel cases in the same auction or the same sale. And you didn't have anything to put them in, it was just these jewel cases. Though sometimes you would see them in sort of an outer box, which were not available through where I at least ordered mine. Which begged the question of, well, you see that box out there from time to time, but you also see some out there with other writing on it. Just what is it that we're looking at? Well, I decided to hunt down the most common of the outer box versions of the Phantom Menace on VCD that's been out and about since 2000 to actually take a look and see what exactly is that other version that's out there that you see every so often, probably as the second most common behind this one, and how does it compare to the one that we've already looked at? That one is the Hong Kong version of the Phantom Menace on VCD from 2000, and that is this. Yes, I finally got one of these. So we have packaging here that looks very familiar to those who bought this on, say, VHS, Star Wars, the big one, the Phantom Menace. You guys saw the mall face going on behind. This, remember, was the beginning of that alternating black and white color scheme that looked like it was going to give black to all the odd numbers and white to all the even numbers, as we also saw on VHS releases for the original trilogy in 2000. And then they screwed that all up whenever they released Attack of the Clones on VHS in black instead of white. You got your image here, again, familiar from cover art for other regions, like especially VHS and whatnot. Then underneath there, you have the title done for that Hong Kong audience. Remember, kind of at the time, Hong Kong was still sort of its own thing in a lot of ways when it came to the market for its goods and a lot of the cultural stuff going on, although it had been returned to China from Britain back in 1997. Now, the spines are going to kind of differ, as are the top and bottom. Top and bottom are going to be blank. One spine, this is the side that opens and closes, is blank. But then in case you want to put this on the shelf, like a book, then you have the other spine, and you've got 20th Century Fox Home Entertainment, Star Wars, The Phantom Menace, then you have your Chinese title here, at least I'm assuming Chinese title, it is Hong Kong after all. Then Darth Maul there on the bottom with a little Lucasfilm logo. Okay. Then the back, very much like those VHS tapes and whatnot, right? So we got the pod race sequence here, we got the 2-on-1 battle. We got little Jar Jar for better or worse down there. Yes, mine does have a little black slash here. Someone did with marker across the UPC, so probably it was sold as a secondary sale, even before I wound up getting my hands on it through eBay. And then we got all that text about the film here, and everything from Every Generation Has a Legend down through right here, basically even with the bottom of this picture, is English. And then from there on, it's Chinese. Then we get our cast crew information here, which becomes English again. And then you get down into the legalese and whatnot, and it's mostly English until the last little bit of Chinese. Then you get the little red slash down there, and then it tells us this is exclusively distributed by Deltamac in Hong Kong. And its address, and then it goes into Chinese text again. There's that Deltamac logo. That was the distributor on behalf of 20th Century Fox Home Entertainment in Hong Kong for the film here. So this is the 2000 version. Doesn't have any tweaks that were made for DVD of the Phantom Menace. You open it up, and we're going to find that the jewel cases are very, very similar. But it's kind of cool in that, sort of like a steelbook, the inside's got its own art here. We have our shot there of the palace in Theed on Naboo. You also have another little copyright down there in the corner. Now, it's the nuances of the little differences that I find kind of fascinating. So, you've got your Malaysian one there, right? You have Obi-Wan, you have the battle behind him. You have 20th Century Fox Home Entertainment logo at the bottom in the left corner. The logo with disc 1 and a little video CD logo in the corner there. Whereas for Hong Kong, you don't have the 20th Century Fox Home Entertainment logo. Disc 1 is scooted over here so that underneath the logo you can have the title there in Chinese. The image, of course, is the same. The spine gets simplified. They're just fine from Malaysia. Star Wars, The Phantom Menace, Disc 1, F0118, the product number, video CD. The spine here for Hong Kong, Star Wars, The Phantom Menace. But then you look at the backs and the inserts. You already know that the insert inside the jewel case, and I mean the one that's actually behind where the disc is held, not the one that just slides in and out. But that insert that is actually behind the disc is different because the text on the spine is different, but so is the art choice. Here's the Malaysian one. There's the Hong Kong one. But that looks familiar. We'll see why in a minute. You take out the insert from the front of the Malaysian one and turn it around, and there you've got Qui-Gon vs. Maul, Disc 1, chapter listing, and then copyright down at the bottom. The one from Hong Kong is also empty on the inside and has the same art and copyright, but no chapter listing. Then the disc labels are different as well. There's your Malaysian one there, nice kind of dark picture, just regular picture there with the logo. Disc 1 underneath, plus your legalese running across the bottom. The disc for Hong Kong, kind of more of a golden look to it here. A little shinier. Still though, logo, disc 1, and then the relevant local legalese down there on the bottom. This one, you can hardly see it, but over here, kind of underneath Obi-Wan, there's a couple of logos there. One for video CD, the other for Digital Authoring Studio, and the Sony number underneath. And then even tinier next to it, you have another company logo beside it. Or maybe a rating. It's an I, whatever it is. You also notice that the art here from Malaysia continues from the outer ring into the inner ring before it gets to the hole, whereas the one from Hong Kong has the outer ring, but doesn't have anything for the inner ring as you head towards the hole, but has text you can barely see that runs around the ring. Let's wait and deal with the contents of the disc in a moment and keep looking at physical properties first here. Here's disc 2. Got Maul there, and laid out similarly to the Malaysian version of disc number 1. This is the Malaysian version. You've got your logo, disc 2, video CD, or excuse me, video CD! And then 20th Century Fox Home Entertainment down in the corner. The Hong Kong version, just like we saw with disc 1, puts the Chinese title underneath the English. That then scoots over the disc number to this side and gets rid of the two little icons. Once again, the spines differ in the same way. And then here's the back of the Malaysian version and the back of the Hong Kong version. Yes. They swapped which image was on disc 1 and which image was on disc 2. Otherwise, the back art is the same. Weird. And then similar differences apply here when you open it up. Here's our Malaysian version. Again, similar art style to disc 1 there. And yes, on the back of the front insert, you've got a chapter listing. Whereas your Hong Kong version, no chapter listing and the more golden, shiny disc. Now, because the Malaysian one was distributed through Videovan, and the one for Hong Kong was through Deltamac, the actual disc contents somewhat differ as well. So, and I had to take notes on this thing to remind myself, if you pop in disc 1 of the Malaysian version, you're going to get a Video Van logo, a Fox Interactive commercial, the 20th Century Fox Home Entertainment logo, a little message that says, now a featured presentation. Then it'll tell you it's rated U, and then it starts playing the Phantom Menace. And it looks just like the full-screen US version, no big deal. And it splits right before the shot of Anakin and Qui-Gon running toward the ship, you know, with the whole Anakin drop when Maul gets a drop on them. I believe the actual split is right before Maul takes off on his blood fin, on his little speeder. You pop in disc 1 of the Hong Kong version, and you basically get a copyright warning in English, and then in Chinese. Had to be warned twice, 2 different languages there, which is kind of common we see these days, except usually it's after a film. And then you get the 20th Century Fox Home Entertainment logo, and it goes straight into the movie itself. The movie is also full screen, only this time it has burned-in Chinese subtitles to it, and it splits at a different place, because there's not all that other stuff packed in front of it. This one splits right before, Mom, we sold the pod! Look how much money we have! That's my best Jake Lloyd impression there, by the way. And then whereas the Malaysian second disc is just that part of the film, and it runs to the end of the film and it's done, the Hong Kong second disc picks up where it left off, runs to the end of the film, and then does have a digital authoring studio logo after the film. So 2 different ways in 2000 to get the Phantom Menace on VCD and import it into the United States while we were waiting for the DVD to come the next year. You can buy it from Malaysia, you can buy it from Hong Kong. Personally, I dig the outer case, so I wish I would have gotten this one back in the day instead of this one, but this one was good enough to tide me over while I was waiting around for a DVD. And hey, it was also the same year people were importing from Malaysia an original trilogy set, so I had all 4 of the current George Lucas Star Wars live-action films on VCD at the time to tide me over, because heck, the OT wasn't even coming on DVD until 2004. One unfortunate side note that I would give here, these are not all that uncommon to find depending on where you're looking. Usually on eBay, though you may have to look outside of the US, like on, say, ebay.co.uk to be able to find them often. The downside is that these were very heavily bootlegged also. So you really got to be careful on whether you're getting a legit item or a bootleg. Still, though, the legit items are neat enough, in my opinion, to still try to track down. With that, we'll wrap up this episode. Thank you for watching, and may the Force be with the home video viewers.